Okay guys, this is me once again, Sherwin, and I am here to for the continuation of my storytelling rattles yesterday. Okay, because we haven't finished it yet, so we're going to continue our uh, what call this one? The storytelling. Okay, the story we're going to. Okay, so the title of our story is A Christmas Tree by Charles Dickens. Okay, so I guess we're going to proceed now and we can go over to our story so that we can finish it. Okay, so here we go now. Okay, so before anything else, okay, I wish everyone to have a Merry Christmas and to have a prosperous New Year. Okay, 2021 I hope is going to be better for all the people. Okay, because 2020 is something that can be unpleasant. Okay, so I wish you all to have your Merry Christmas. Okay, so ready now. Okay, I guess I'm going to make it a little bit better. Peter. Okay, okay. Oh, okay, finally I got it. Okay, and I do come home at Christmas. We all do, or we all should. We all came home, or ought to come home for a short holiday. The longer, the better. From the great boarding school, we are forever working at our arithmetical slates. To take and keep a rest. As to going to visiting. Where can we not go? If we will, where have we not have been? When we would, starting our fancy from our Christmas tree. Going to the winter prospect, there are many such a kind of tree. On by low-lying, misty grounds, through fence and paths, up long hills, winding dark as cabins between thick plantations, almost jutting out the sparkling stars. So out in the broad heights, until we stop at last, with the silence at an avenue. The gate bell hears it. Half awful sound in the frosty air. The gate swings open on its hinges, and as we drive up to the great house, the glancing lights grow larger into the windows, and the opposing rows of trees seem to fall solemnly back on either side to give us place. At intervals all day, a brightened hair has shed across this whitened tarp, or the distant clatter of a herd of deer trampling the hard cross has for the minute crushed the silence too. Their watchful eyes beneath the fern may be shining now, if we could see them, like the icy dew drops in the leaves, and the trees falling back before us and closing up again behind us, as if to forbid it. We come to the house. There is probably the smell of roasted chestnuts and other good, comfortable things all the time. For we are telling winter stories, ghost stories, or more shame for us around the Christmas fire. Okay, and we have never steered except to draw a little nearer to it. But no matter for that, we came to the house, and it is an old house full of great chimneys where wood is burnt, and it is burnt and ancient dogs upon the earth, and grim portraits, some of them with grim legends too, lowered distrustfully from the oaken panels of the walls. We are middle-aged noblemen, and we make a generous supper with our host and hostess and their guests, it being Christmas time. In the old house full of company, and then we go to bed. Our room is very old room. It is hung with a tapestry. We don't like the portrait of a cavalier in green over the fireplace. There are great black beams in the ceiling, and there is a great black bedstead supported at the foot by two great black figures who seem to have come up a couple of times in the old baronial church in the park for our particular accommodation. But we are not superstitious noblemen, and we don't mind. Well, we dismiss our servant, lock the door, and sit, and we don't mind. And sit in before the fire in our dressing gown, musing about a great many things. At length we go to bed. Okay? Well, we can't sleep. We toss and tumble and can't sleep. We can't help peeping out over the counterpane at room look ghostly. We can, at the two black figures and the cavalier, that weak-looking cavalier in green. In the flickering light, they seem to advance and retire, which thought we are not by any means a superstitious nobleman is not agreeable. Well, we get nervous, more and more nervous. We say, this is very foolish, but we can't stand this. We'll pretend to be ill and knock up somebody. Well, we are just going to do it. When the lab door opens, and there comes a young woman, deadly pale, and with long, fairy hair, who lies to the fire and sits down in the chair we have left there, wringing her hands. Then we notice that her clothes are wet. Our tongue cleaves to the roof of our mouth, and we can't speak, but we observe her accurately. Her clothes are wet. Her long hair is doubled with moist mud. She is dressed in fashion of 200 years ago, and she has at her girdle a bunch of the rusty keys. Well, there she is. There she sits, and we can't even think. We are in such a state about it. Presently, she gets up and tries with all the luck in the room with the rusty keys, which won't fit one of them. Then she fixes her eyes on the portrait of the cavalier in the green and says, in a low, terrible voice, "The stags know it." After that, she wrings her hands again, passes the bedside, and goes out of the door. We hurry on our dressing gown, seize our pistols, We always travel with pistols and are following. When we find the door locked, we turn the key, look out into the dark gallery, no one there. We wander away and try to find our servant. Can't be done. We pace the gallery till daybreak, then return to our deserted room, fall asleep, and are awakened by our servant. Nothing ever has him. And the shining sun. Well, we make a rich breakfast, and all the companies say we look queer. After breakfast, we go over the house with our host, and then we take him to the portrait of the cavalier in green. And then it all comes out. He was false to a young housekeeper once attached to that family and famous for her beauty. He drowned herself in a pan, and whose body was discovered after a long time. Because the stags refused to drink of the water. Since which, it has been whispered that she traverses the house at midnight, but goes especially to that room where the cavalier in green was wont to sleep. Trying the old lads with the rusty keys. Well, we tell our host of what we have seen, and shade comes over his features, and he begs it may be hushed up, and so it is. But it's all true, and we said so before we died. We are dead now. Too many responsible people. There's no end to the old houses, with resounding galleries and dismal state bedchambers and haunted wings shut up for many years, through which many ramble with an agreeable creeping at our back and encounter any number of ghosts. That is worthy of remark, perhaps, reducible to a very few general types and classes. For ghosts to have little originality and walk in a beaten track, thus it comes to pass that a certain room in a certain old hall, where a certain bad lord, baronet, knight, or gentleman shut himself, his certain planks in the floor from which the blood will not be taken out. You may scrape and scrape, as the present owner has done, or plane and plane, as his father did, or scrub and scrub, as his grandfather did, or burn and burn with strong acids, as his great grandfather did. But there the blood will still be. No reader and no pickler. No more and no less, always just the same. Thus, in such another house, there is a haunted door. That never will keep open, or another door that will never will keep shut. Okay. Okay. Or a haunted sound of a spinning wheel, or a hammer, or a footstep, or a cry, or a sigh, or a horse's trump, or the rattling of a chain, or else there is a dark clock, which at the midnight hours strikes 13 when the head of the family is going to die. or a shadowy, immovable black carriage, which at such a time is always seen by somebody, waiting near the great gates in the stable yard. Or thus, it came to pass how Lady Mary went to pay a visit in a large wild house in the Scottish Highlands, and being fatigued with her long journey, retired to bed early and innocently said, next morning at the breakfast table, "How odd to have so late party last night in this remote place, and not to tell me of it before I went to bed." Then everyone asked Lady Mary what she meant. Then Lady Mary replied, "Why, all night long the carriage were driving around and around the terrace underneath my window." Then the owner of the house turned pale, and so did his lady, and Charles MacDoodle of the MacDoodle signed to Lady Mary to say no more. And everyone was silent. After breakfast, Charles MacDoodle told Lady Mary that it was a tradition in the family that those rambling carriage on the terrace betokened to death. And so it proved. For 2 months afterwards, the lady of the mansion died. Lady Mary, who was a maid of honor at court, often told his story to the old Queen Charlotte. By this token that the old king was always said, what? Ghost? No such thing, no such thing." And never left off saying so until he went to bed. Or a friend of somebody's whom most of us know. When he was a young man at college, he had a particular friend with whom he made the compact that, if it were possible for the spirit to return to this earth after its separation from the body, she of the twain who first died should reappear to the other. In course of time, this compact was forgotten by our friend. The two young men, having progressed in life and taken diverging paths that were wide asunder, but one night, many years afterwards, our friend, being the north of England and staying for the night in an inn on the Yorkshire moors, happened to look out of the bed. There, in the moonlight, leaning in a beer near the window, steadfastly regarding him, saw his old college friend. The appearance being solemnly addressed, replied in a kind of whisper, but very audibly, "Do not come near me, I am dead. I am here to redeem my promise. I come from another world, but may not disclose its secrets." Then the whole form, becoming paler, melted, as it were, into the moonlight and faded away. Or there was the door of the first occupier of the picturesque Elizabeth House, so famous in our neighborhood. You have heard about her. No. Why? She went out one summer evening at twilight when she was a beautiful girl, just 17 years of age, to gather flowers in the garden, and presently came running, terrified, into the hall to her father, saying, "Oh dear father, I have met myself." He took her in his arms and told her it was Pansy, but she said, "Oh no, I met myself in the Broadway, and I was pale, and gathering withered flowers, and I turned my head and held them up. And that night, she died, and a picture of her story was begun, though never finished, and they say it is somewhere in the house to this day, with its face to the wall." Or the uncle of my brother's wife was riding home on horseback one mellow evening at sunset, when, in a green lane close to his own house, he saw a man standing before him. In the very center of a narrow way. "Why does the man in the cloak stand there?" he thought. "Does he want me to ride over him?" But the figure never moved. He felt a strange temptation at seeing it so still, but slackened his trot and rode forward. When he was so close to it, as almost to touch it with his stirrup, his horse heeled, and the figure glided up the bank. In a curious, unearthly manner backward, and without seeming to use his feet, and was gone. The uncle of my brother's wife exclaiming, "Good heaven, it's my cousin Harry from Bombay," put spurs to his horse, which was suddenly in a profuse sweat, and wondering at such strange behavior, dashed round to the front of his house. There, he saw the same figure just passing in, and the long French window of the drawing room opening on the ground. He threw his bridle to a servant, and hastened in after it. His sister was sitting there alone. "Alice, where's my cousin Harry?" "Your cousin Harry, John?" "Yes, from Mumbai. I met him in the lane just now, and saw him enter here this instant." Not a creature had been seen by anyone, and in that hour and minute, as it afterward appeared, this cousin died in India. Or it was a certain sensible old maiden lady who died in 1999 and retained her faculties to the last. I really did see the orphan boy. A story which has often been incorrectly told, but of which the real truth is this, because it is. In fact, this story belonged to our family, and she was connection of our family when she was about 40 years of age, and still an uncommonly fine woman. Her lover died young, which was the reason why she never married, though she had many offers. She went to stay at a place in Kent, which her brother, an Indian merchant, had newly bought. There was a story that this place had once been held in trust by the guardian of a young boy, who was himself the next heir, and who killed the young boy by harsh and cruel treatment. She knew nothing of that. It has been said that there was a cage in her bedroom in which the guardian used to put the boy. There was no such thing. There was only a closet. She went to bed, made no alarm, whatever in the night, and in the morning said composedly to her maid when she came in, "Who is the pretty forlorn looking child who has been peeping out of the closet all night?" The maid replied by giving a loud scream, and instantly decamping. She was surprised, but she was one in remarkable strength of mind, and she dressed herself and went downstairs and clothed herself with her brother. "Now, Walter," she said, "I have been disturbed all night by a pretty, forlorn-looking boy who has been constantly peeping out of that closet in my room, which I can't open. This is some trick." "I am afraid not, Charlotte," said he, "for it is the legend of the house. It is the orphan boy." "What did he do?" "He opened the door softly," said she, "and peeped out. Sometimes he came a step or two into the room. Then I called to him to encourage him, and he shrunk and shuddered and crept in again and shut the door." "The closet has no communication, Charlotte," said her brother, "with any other part of the house, and it's nailed up." This was undeniably true, and it took two carpenters a whole forenoon to get it open for examination. Then she was satisfied that she had seen the orphan boy. But the wild and terrible part of the story is that he was also seen by three of her brother's sons in succession, who all died young, on the occasion of each child being taken ill. He came home in a heat 12 hours before and said, "Oh, Mama." He had been playing under a particular oak tree in a certain meadow with a strange boy, a pretty, forlorn-looking boy who was very timid and made signs. From battle experience, and parents came to know that this was the orphan boy, and that the course of the child whom he chose for his little playmate was surely wrong. Legend is the name of German castles, where we set it up, alone to wait for the spectre, where we are shown into a room made comparatively cheerful for our reception, where we glance round at the shadows thrown on the blank walls by the crackling fire, where feel very lonely when the village innkeeper and his pretty daughter have retired. After lying down, a fresh store of wood up in the hearth, and sitting forth on the small table, such supper cheer as a cold roast cotton, bread, grapes, and flask of old wine. where the reverberating tours close on their retreat, one after another, like so many peals of silent thunder. And there, and where, about the small hours of night, we come into the knowledge of diverse supernatural mysteries. Legion is the name of the haunted German students, in whose society we draw yet nearer to the fire, while the schoolboy in the corner opens his eyes wide and round. That lies and lies up the footstool he has chosen for his seat. When the door accidentally blows open, thus is the crop of such fruit shining in our Christmas tree. It blossomed almost at very top, ripening all down the boughs. Among the latter toys, the pansies hanging there, as idle often and less pure, be the images once associated with the sweet old waits, and the softened music in the high, ever and alterable. Encircled by the social thoughts of Christmas time, still let the benignant figure of my childhood stand unchanged. In every cheerful image and suggestion that the season brings, may the bright star that rested above the poor roof be the star of all the wooden Christian world. A moment's pause. O vanishing tree, of which the lower boughs are dark to me as yet, and let me look once more. I know there are blank spaces in my branches, where eyes that I have loved and have shown and smiled, from which they are departed. But far above, I see the razor of the dead girl, and the widow's son, and God is good. If age be hiding from me in the unseen portion of thy downward growth, oh may I, with a gray head, turn a child's heart to that figure yet, and a child's trustfulness and confidence. Now, the tree is decorated with bright merriment, in song, in dance, in cheerfulness. They are welcome, innocent and welcome be they ever held, beneath the branches of the Christmas tree, which casts no gloomy shadow, but as it sinks into the ground, I hear a whisper going through the leaves. This is in commemoration of the law of love and kindness, mercy and compassion. This is in remembrance of me. Okay, so that will be the end of our story for now, guys, which is entitled A Christmas Tree. Okay, so this story is written by Charles Dickens, and it's interpret Christmas. So Christmas tree is kind of common. And thank you so much for being right there and seeing these videos, watching these videos. And that will be for now. And by tomorrow I'll be having another story. Okay, so the title for tomorrow will be What Christmas is as we grow older. Okay, so that will be for tomorrow's story. Okay, so for now I have to say goodbye and see you soon. Okay, so bye bye and have a great day.